The world is watching a dangerous game unfold in the Persian Gulf. A line has been drawn, the United States Navy on one side, Iran on the other. The Strait of Hormuz is now the stage for a crisis with global consequences. One mistake here could ignite a conflict felt from London to Shanghai. Failed peace talks have given way to a US blockade, aiming to force Iran back to negotiations by crippling its economy. But this strategy is a gamble, one that could bring breakthrough or catastrophic war. Every ship, every radio call is a potential flashpoint. The US bets on military might, Iran relies on resilience and unconventional tactics. The world holds its breath as the blockade tightens, waiting for the next move in this high-stakes geopolitical chess match. The stakes could not be higher. The outcome remains terrifyingly uncertain. As of April 13th, the US naval blockade of Iran is fully in effect. American warships now control the maritime gateways to Iran, aiming to halt all trade by sea. Iran claims to have broken the blockade with ships reaching its ports, but the US insists the blockade is airtight. Both sides are waging an information war, each trying to control the narrative. On the water, the risk of a deadly miscalculation grows by the hour. The blockade is a direct challenge to Iran's economy and pride. The world watches as tension escalates, with every vessel a potential trigger. The standoff is as much about perception as it is about power. The Strait of Hormuz is the world's most critical maritime choke point. 20% of global oil, over 20 million barrels a day, passes through this narrow channel. Any disruption here sends shockwaves through the global economy, spiking prices and threatening recession. It's not just oil. LNG, container ships and vital goods all rely on this passage. Iran's control over one side gives it leverage to threaten global trade. The US and allies can protect shipping, but the geography favors Iran's asymmetric tactics. Sea mines, fast boats and missiles could turn the strait into a war zone overnight. The blockade aims to isolate Iran, but risks closing a vital artery for the world. The crisis is about more than military might. It's about the lifeblood of the global economy. The world's prosperity hangs in the balance. The US blockade is a high-tech, multi-layered operation. Warships, drones and patrol aircraft monitor every vessel near Iran. Ships suspected of violating the blockade are ordered to turn away. Non-compliance can mean warning shots or boarding. The goal: maximum economic pressure on Iran, minimum direct confrontation. But reality is messy. Ships go dark, tankers slip through, and every interception risks escalation. The US hopes to avoid war, but the blockade is a tense cat-and-mouse game. Each day, the risk of a deadly incident grows. The blockade tests both American resolve and Iranian ingenuity. The margin for error is razor-thin. Iran's response is defiant and uncompromising. Tehran condemns the blockade as an act of war, vowing not to negotiate under pressure. The Revolutionary Guard threatens to make all shipping unsafe if Iran's own vessels are blocked. Iran's military specializes in asymmetric tactics: fast boats, missiles, sea mines, and regional proxies. By claiming to break the blockade, Iran projects strength at home and abroad. The US faces a dangerous dilemma: escalate or back down. Both sides are locked in a high-stakes test of will. The blockade has brought the region to the brink. A single clash between US and Iranian forces could spiral into all-out war. Imagine a US warship intercepts an Iranian tanker, shots are fired, and escalation follows. Iran could target commercial shipping, sending oil prices soaring and forcing US allies to choose sides. The conflict could spread to land, missile strikes, proxy attacks, and regional chaos. The fragile ceasefire is gone. The risk of a multi-front war is real. The path to peace is narrow, the road to war wide open. Every hour without resolution increases the danger. The world stands on a precipice. The next move could decide the fate of millions. The crisis has rocked global markets. Oil prices are volatile, with Brent crude nearing $100 a barrel. Higher prices mean costlier fuel, goods, and inflation worldwide. The blockade is a direct threat to the financial well-being of billions. Shipping through Hormuz is now high risk. Insurance premiums soar, and many ships avoid the area. Global supply chains are strained, with delays and shortages rippling across continents. The blockade acts as a tax on trade, making everything more expensive. The longer the crisis drags on, the greater the economic pain. The world economy is fragile. A conflict here could trigger a global downturn. The stakes are not just military, they're economic and personal for everyone. The blockade has exposed deep global divisions. The US finds itself isolated, with allies hesitant and rivals emboldened. China condemns the blockade, warning of global instability while quietly considering support for Iran. Russia seizes the chance to boost its own energy exports and challenge US influence. Even traditional US allies refuse to join the operation, calling instead for de-escalation. Regional players scramble for diplomacy, but unity is elusive. The fractured international response raises the stakes for all involved. The world stands at a crossroads, diplomacy or destruction. Talks continue behind the scenes, with Pakistan mediating and leaders hinting at a possible deal. Yet mistrust runs deep. Decades of hostility make compromise difficult. The US sees the blockade as leverage, Iran as aggression. A deal would require real concessions from both sides, easing the blockade, limiting Iran's nuclear ambitions. If talks fail, the risk of war grows by the day. A single incident could trigger a conflict with devastating consequences. The fate of the region and the world hangs in the balance. The coming days are critical. The world can only hope that diplomacy prevails.